Hello, and welcome to the class of contemporary-based remunerative management. So this is our second topic which we will be covering today. So let's start. So today we are going to discuss another topic about strategic human resource management, that is competencies. Now, what are competencies? What is the relation between competencies and human resource management? What are the requirements? What makes competency the core edge or the core area that needs to be focused in for any organization? So let's discuss all the components. This is the content of this particular slides, that we will be discussing about the framework of HR management system and what is the competency model, what is the competency model in interviews, in your career planning, in training and development, and performance management. So before starting this lecture, I'll like to ask you guys, and I like to ask the class, what is the definition or what is your understanding of competency? What are competencies and why it is like a requirement? Competencies क्या होती हैं?
I think competency is a relative term, and it is different for every company. The
Right.
competency terms are goal which can help the to achieve the goals of that company is the
Right.
competency.
बिल्कुल right. All right, sir. ठीक है. Anybody else? Hera, any idea what is competency? Okay. Okay. Right. So competency is basically, अगर हम एक बात करें, I'll go with the definition. Again, combination of your skills, job attitude, knowledge, that what is exactly the right behavior for that particular job, so that that can be evaluated and you can have a discussion as well. So basically, that's the competency. Every company or every job or every position requires a different competencies, because, for example, if I have to hire a marketing manager, so I would like to have that person should be having marketing analysis or marketing skills, or should know the basic components of marketing. If it's an IT related job, so definitely I will go with the people who would be having the knowledge of IT and that they can be implemented. So again, for every job, the skill set needs to be met, the attitude needs to be met, so that the things can be done, and that at the end of the day you can evaluate them. Before starting this particular topic, I'll have a very short video. Let's see that video, because that's directly related to our topic as well. Let me play that. All right. Is it audible?
Ma'am, there will be no voice.
Okay, let me, okay, I'll do that.
A turtle and a rabbit had an argument about who was faster.
Now, is it
Once upon a
Yes, miss, now it's audible.
time,
okay?
a turtle and a rabbit had an argument about who was faster. They decided to settle the argument with a race. The turtle and the rabbit both agreed on a route and started off the race. The rabbit shot ahead and ran briskly for some time. Then, seeing he was far ahead of the turtle, he thought he'd sit under a tree for some time and relax before continuing the race. He sat under the tree and soon fell asleep. The turtle, plodding on, overtook him and soon finished the race, emerging as the undisputed champ. The rabbit woke up and realized that he'd lost the race. The moral of the story is that slow and steady wins the race. This is the version of the story that we've all grown up with. But our version of the story continues. The rabbit was disappointed at losing the race, and he did some thinking. He realized that he'd lost the race only because he had been overconfident, careless, and lax. If he had not taken things for granted, there's no way the turtle could have beaten him. So, he challenged the turtle to another race. The turtle agreed. This time, the rabbit went all out and ran without stopping from start to finish. He won by several miles. The moral of the story? Fast and consistent will always beat the slow and steady. It's good to be slow and steady, but it's better to be fast and reliable. But the story doesn't end here. The turtle did some thinking this time and realized that there's no way he can beat the rabbit in a race the way it was currently formatted. He thought for a while and then challenged the rabbit to another race, but on a slightly different route. The rabbit agreed. The turtle and rabbit started off. In keeping with his self-made commitment to be consistently fast, the rabbit took off and ran at top speed until he came to a broad river. The finishing line was a couple of kilometers on the other side of the river. The rabbit sat there, wondering what to do. In the meantime, the turtle trundled along, got into the river, swam to the opposite bank, continued walking, and finished the race. The moral of the story? First, identify your core competency, and then change the playing field to suit your core competency. The story still hasn't ended. The turtle and rabbit by this time had become pretty good friends, and they did some thinking together. Both realized that the last race could have been run much better. So, the turtle and rabbit decided to do the last race again, but to run as a team this time. They started off, and this time the rabbit carried the turtle till the riverbank. There, the turtle took over and swam across with the rabbit on his back. On the opposite bank, the rabbit again carried the turtle, and they reached the finishing line together. Both the turtle and rabbit felt a greater sense of satisfaction than they'd felt earlier. The moral of the story? It's good to be individually brilliant and to have strong core competencies. But unless you're able to work in a team and harness each other's core competencies, you'll always perform below par, because there will always be situations at which you'll do poorly and someone else does well. Teamwork is mainly about situational leadership, letting the person with the relevant core competency for a situation take leadership. And that is the end of the story.
All right. So what was the crux of the story and what was the bottom line? Anyone?
Together we grow.
Together we grow. Okay. What else?
Developing a better team.
Making a better team, right, sir? Anyone?
Encouraging teamwork.
Encouraging teamwork. Okay. Another bottom line was like, we need to focus on our core competencies. What exactly is my forte? What is exactly is my strength? So again, if we focus on our strengths, so we would be able to collaborate with others, and then in the right direction, we can do wonders. So basically, it's about having the idea that what exactly are my strengths. Like from the start, if we say we have to do our SWOT analysis, what exactly are our competencies in terms of like what exactly I have the edge. मैं क्या चीज बेहतर कर सकता हूँ, and then I collaborate with other people, and then in that way the things could be done and the results would be definitely much more improved. So again, so today's topic of discussion would be competency, that how in terms of like strategic human resource management, what is competency, how is that is like a determining factor, and what exactly needs to be done to develop those competencies. So starting with, this is basically the picture, or you can say the whole diagram through which organizations work. First of all, we need to have a business strategy in terms of like what exactly is the purpose of the organization. Then in terms of like when we put all our competencies in terms of recruitment, selection, training and development, performance appraisals of the employees, reward management or career management, everything is dependent on your competencies. That what exactly how well I'm doing in the organization. What is my current rate or in terms of like performance? So again, there are different methods through which we can gauge or see that how that individual is linking towards his working style as well as how his individual performance is giving a part in terms of organizational performance. So both needs to have a balance. That's basically your competency. That if I'm a good manager, so definitely I will be placed at a managerial role. If not, so definitely I won't be given that particular task because I'm not a good leader. I'm not a good manager. I'm not a good problem solver. So again, we need to see what is the right fit for every position. All right. So we'll start with the definition of competency. सर हमने भी बात example से कि we need to see exactly क्या skill set है. Skill set again skills में requirement of that particular position. कि उस particular position की क्या requirement है. If you have the right attitude in terms of like how you're performing. Sometimes the people have the right skill. I'll say people are like maybe he or she is having experience of like maybe so many organization. He is the right fit. But his attitude towards the organization or towards the employees is not good. Might be he's very much bossy, might be he's very much rude, might be he's not a good team player. So again, attitude does make a difference in your work life and workplace as well. अगर आप you are not a good fit among the team, आप लोगों के साथ काम नहीं कर सकते, उनके साथ काम करवा नहीं सकते, आप कितने भी अच्छे और talented और knowledgeable क्यों ना हो, but you could not work along with the organization because आपका एक right attitude नहीं है. So again, skill set needs to go along with your attitude, and then comes your knowledge as well. Definitely you have the right knowledge. That's why you're placed on that position. Then second thing, as a supervisor, as a line manager, I will be observing, okay, I have given you a task, you have done it correctly, you are done in a very good way. Like for example, if I give like if your boss or your teacher has given an assignment and you do collectively, so again, that means you are good to go. Sometimes there are issues in the group, like somebody has not done their work or they are like just like free riders. So again, the rest of the members can observe and feel that they are not playing or they are not putting their 100% or even they're not even working in the group. So again, this is basically you evaluate here, this person is not the right fit for this particular group or the assignment. So again, observable behavior. You can observe their behavior in terms of like how they are performing. And then last phase comes into your job performance, how you are performing well, either you are at par or you are below. Again, through this organization evaluate you in terms of your appraisal as well, कि आपको performance appraisal या promotion या आपकी जो है maybe any other bonus should be given to you or not. So again, all these things are aligned in terms of your competencies, that either you are a competent person or you still lack some of the skills or knowledge. It could be anything or the right attitude. So competencies go along with your job description. हमने last class में we just gone through the job analysis in terms of like job description, एक HR का role है, and again the job specification as well. So again, competencies needs to be matched with your job description. Like what is exactly my role in the organization? मैंने क्या करना organization में, मेरी क्या responsibilities and duties हैं? I need to complete those responsibilities or duties. So that means I have the right competency. Like मेरे पास maybe I have the degree, I have the experience, I have the exposure, might be I having some diplomas or some other skills I am having. That's why I'm the right fit for that particular job. So again, you need to meet all this in terms of your competencies towards the description. Then you need to see the how that person, when you have put that person on that particular job, how he or she is doing, either that competencies are matching. Good. If it's not, then you need to determine that what exactly is the problem, like what exactly are like the things that are not confining towards that role. Might be बहुत दफा होता है कि people could not work along with the boss because of his nature, because of his might be attitude, because of his like micromanagement. Some boss have the micromanagement attitude. They look for each and everything. ये क्यों नहीं किया, ऐसे क्यों किया? Again, you need to see कि क्या problem हो रही है if something is not happening. Sometimes you have given a task, but that person is not capable of in terms of like he or she don't know how to work on that. So again, you need to facilitate in terms of skill set. तो फिर हमारी वहाँ पे बात आती है training and development की. We need to train, we need to give them some might be workshop देनी है, हमें on the job training देनी है या off the job training देनी है. So he or she would be able to perform that. So again, competencies goes along with your job position. Exactly मैंने इसको किस job position पे I have placed that person and how that person is performing or not performing on the job. So they are basically there are many types of competencies in terms of organization or workplace, but the primarily two are being focused. One is your managerial competencies and the second one is functional. Now managerial are like as a manager, what is the my ability to manage the people in terms of like human interaction मेरा कैसा है, मैं लोगों के साथ बात कर सकता हूँ, नहीं बात कर सकता, अपनी बात को communicate कर सकता हूँ, because sometimes सिर्फ बात करने से ही like it's the way you deal with the people. If you are a good manager in terms of dealing, लोग आपकी बात सुनेंगे, they value your talk and they will work for you. And sometimes लोग आपकी सिर्फ और सिर्फ because you are not a good manager, you are might be much like enforcing or maybe threatening them or like ये नहीं करोगे तो I'll do this, like very much in terms of like बहुत एक stick approach के साथ चलोगे, so people won't be doing it. They're like okay fine, नहीं भी करेंगे तो डांट ही पड़ेगी और ये कह दिया जाएगा तो whatsoever. So again you need to see how you what type of manager you are. So again people management skills should be there. The second one, your functional competencies, that is your like your hard competencies. What is like basically the technical aspect, like if I am working on some software, so I should be hands on that software, I should know what exactly needs to be done. If I have to do some analysis as a financial one, so I need to do how to do the balance sheet, how to do might be how to run all the operation in terms of like my balance sheet in terms of like or my in terms of how I have to make all the plans or schedule. So again, these are all the hard skills requirement of the job. For example, currently I am alumni, I'm looking after all the alumni. So again, I need to have all the database of where exactly my alumni are working. That's my functional competencies. I need to manage if there's a problem arises from their side, if someone has to go abroad and they need some certification or they need some letter of like this maybe consent, or they need some application procedures to be done. So again, I'm the right person to facilitate. So that's my functional competency. So again, every job has different requirement that needs to be there. So there should be a good boss, that's like human interaction, versus your technical aspects. You should be knowing what exactly is the role. If you are deployed or you are like working under a position that is something more strategic in nature, that's like you need to have decision making. So again, that's your technical aspects. Like again, whatever is the nature of the job, you should be known and should be able to focus on that. All right. So moving forward, what is like the procedure, what's the right framework, how we are going to develop and how we are going to see that what exactly is the right competencies. First of all, you need to clarify, you should have hands-on, what exactly is the organizational purpose. Like आपकी organization का existence का purpose क्या, what exactly is the mission, उस organization का vision क्या है, what are the objective, the plans, either short-term plans or long-term plans, that should be clear. Then we can have we can merge with our job description that what exactly needs to be done. So we need to identify the right competencies for any particular job and position. Then we need to generate different models in terms of like we are going to discuss models in terms of like okay, this person is more fit into this particular position. He is having a strategic mindset, or he is much good at might be in terms of like managing people, or he or she is much good at technical side. So again, we need to see what exactly is the right fit. Then we comes and validate the procedure by having like either we are on the right track or not. Now these are few of the roles. First of all, we need to analyze the work role in terms of like what exactly is my position, what exactly is my job description. I need to see that. Then I need to see the procedure in terms of like, okay, that was the role. These are the requirements. For example, for a technical, maybe I'm making a IT technician. IT technician का क्या क्या role है, क्या क्या काम करने हैं, what exactly are the procedure he or she has to do. So again, IT की सारी मैं requirements लिख दूंगी. If it's like a HR executive, so again, the role of the HR executive might be helping out the manager or the assistant manager in terms of like all the work. So again, work role. Then I need to gather some data. The data gatheration can be done. I can gather data through different focus groups, either one-on-one, like having a discussion with 2 or 3 people on the table and like discussing, okay, now for this particular position, and usually it's been done. हम जब ये करते हैं तो हमने जो उनके line manager के साथ या उनके director या managerial level के साथ, we sit with them and we'll ask them Okay, what is the requirement for your job, जिसको हम job specification भी कहते हैं. Or through different behavior even interviews, like we observe them that what exactly are the requirement of that particular department, and then we focus, okay, is required department may might be if it's the requirement of, like, I'll say supply chain. So supply chain may I need a person who is having might be usko idea hona chahiye ki how to work with a if it's any software, it's a SAP based software, it's a ERP software. So again, I need to see what exactly is the requirement so I can go through that. And lastly, there are some benchmarks. Benchmarks are like if there is something that standards kya hai aapke organization ke, if you don't have any standard you are maintaining or developing it for the first time, then you can have a benchmark of the industry कि आपके competitors क्या कर रहे हैं, what exactly are their approach, and then you can have the analysis कि मुझे अब इस particular job के लिए, इस particular JD के लिए क्या competencies required हैं. So this is how we can make a job description in comparison with our competency model. All right. Then this is basically few of the examples that if for a position I need a person who needs to be adaptable, like he or she is good to go with along with the people. He is like he don't have any problem if he is being relocated or he is working with different diverse people having diversity. So again, this is something that's like adaptability, how much adaptable you are towards the environment, towards your people, towards all the things. So again, these are, I have mentioned few of the key behaviors, like that needs to be understanding, that has to embrace the change, that has to like go with the situation, and he or she needs to be very accommodative as well. Like whatever the situation comes in, he or she is adaptable. So again, for different positions, for example, being a director on a managerial role, we expect people to be adaptable because there will be lots of people under them. They have to manage them. Every person and every human being is different. So again, I should have the capacity to manage and deal with all of them, either their problems or anything, their personal, whatever it is. So I'm having that adaptability. Sometimes we need to relocate as well. So again, how much comfortable they are, or sometimes they have to go with in terms of like we are restructuring organization, so they need to be adaptable in that way as well. If we introducing some new software or we are restructuring the organizational hierarchy, we are restructuring the things, so how they are going to cope and manage that. So another example is like another competencies is like how much you are problem solver, not problem creator, and how is your analysis skills, like how you are going to have analysis. So again, basically these are few of the key behaviors that are being required, how you identify the issue, because being a manager or being in the HR, people would be having different problems either from your department or any other department. They will be coming to you and you have to give them a solution that what exactly needs to be done. So there are procedure, there are SOPs for that, what needs to be done first, pehle kya karna hai, phir kya karna hai. So there are steps for that. So again, you need to seek information, you need to see things. This one, being a manager, sometimes HR ke agar main baat karu, people have a very difficulty in terms of like if we have to lay off someone, like hame kisi ko fire karna hai. So again, how we need to tell that person, how we need to accommodate, what exactly are the benefits, what exactly are the things we need to discuss. So again, that needs to be done by the HR, or the HR has to mention that, then this is the reason. So again, these are all the competencies or people orientation skills or your problem solving skills are required. This was just an example that this is one of the competencies and the behavior requirement. So as an HR manager, you have to have these kind of analysis, either it's any of the competencies. If I require a person who is good at Microsoft Office, so again, this is a competency. So Office is like, so I will be seeing all those skill set who is meeting Office requirement in terms of like, he knows Excel, okay, check mark. If he knows Word, okay, he knows Access, okay, good. He knows PowerPoint, okay, good. So again, all the check marks for the Microsoft Office. So this is one of the competency, right? So after the competency framework, we have approaches in terms of like competency-based interviews. Like interview mein, when we are evaluating a person, or we have to evaluate to hमें क्या parameters या क्या dimensions को we need to see. I'll explain this through this particular chart. This is called a STAR approach. STAR is basically situation, task, action, and results. So what exactly like might be, so in some of the interviews, you give a situation to the candidate that this is something, what exactly you will be doing. what action you will be taking and what would be the result or consequences or what would be the things. So again, this is basically the STAR approach. We can apply it anywhere in the organization as well. When we allocate a task to our employees, okay, this is the task I will be giving to you. Okay, this is something you need to do. What exactly would be your situation? How you're going to perform? Either आप इस task को delegate करोगे या खुद करोगे. Who is going to lead? So again, all these questions needs to be answered. So there is a format called as STAR. This is the right approach for tackling any situation in terms of your competencies, and then through this way we can have the idea कि मुझे किस तरह allocate करना है and how the things can be worked. Then competency-based training and development in terms of like when we are having analysis ke who is the right fit or kisko training किस time पे requirement है, then there is like we need to see abhi currently what is their competency level, right? Abhi unka existing skill set kya hai, like what exactly is the position. For example, let me give the example. If a person is working for the placement department, so placement department, he or she needs to have a good cordial relationship with the industry expert. So again, that's the core competency. Again, communication skill should be there, written skills should be there. Again, your people orientation should be there. So again, this is the current skill set. If a person is not able to maintain good cordial relationship with any of the industry experts or anyone, that means there is something that needs to be there. Might be I would be having some discussions, or I would be having some different training, or I will be like, okay, fine, you have to be like much into you need to like you need to step out of your comfort zone, and you need to meet people, you need to go to the organization. So again, I need to see what exactly is the gap, why I'm not able to do something if it's there. So again, for every position, we need to have this competency gaps. What exactly is not fine or they need some improvement. So जब उस improvements को हम जब देखेंगे, and these improvements can be asked by the direct supervisors, by the line manager, might be they can be seen through your APR, that is annual performance appraisal, might be कुछ दफा में something new, जिस तरह में हमने पहले बात की कि आपकी organization restructure हुई है या आपकी organization में कोई नया software आया है, and your employees are not well aware about that. So you can give a training so that they will be well equipped with the new system and the new things. So again, at every level, you need to see either you are on the right track or not. Any question up till now? Anyone having anything? You can ask me. So everything is being understood. Abhi tak, whatever I have like mentioned about the competency model, so it's understood, I believe. All right. This is basically the model of training and development. First of all, this is also called as TNA, that is training need assessment. Okay, first of all, if a person requires training, we need to have the assessment that what type of training that person requires. Then we need to design some competency based, like for a supervisor, what is the right training? For a manager, what is the right training? For a director, what would be the right trainings? Then we plan training and development materials, implement them, and then we evaluate. So let's focus on an example of competency profile. I have taken a profile of training and development manager versus recruitment supervisor. So these are few of the competencies required by training and development. He needs to be a good, having public speaking, having communication skill, leadership. So all these these ones, they are filled. That means this is like the required level. Like sometimes communication say, okay, fine. Public speaking should be there. Leadership, okay, fine. Training need analysis, he or she needs to do. Okay, what exactly are the assessment required by the different people? So he need to perform TNA for every employee or every person who is going through this particular training. Material कौन से requirements हैं, किस तरह हम evaluate करेंगे? So these are the requirements. So again, for the recruitment supervisor, the skills are, the competencies are a little bit different. So we need to evaluate कि कौन सी. These are like out of 5 के कौन ज़्यादा, which are more required and which are more important. All right. So this is basically competency profile per position. I like अगर हम एक supervisor की देखें, supervisor में competency हमने mention कर दी leadership, जिसने हमने पीछे mention की थी. But again, we need to see अब मुझे उसका कौन सी in terms of training, what exactly modules I have to offer in terms of leadership. Okay, I need to offer leadership training. I need to offer communication skill, art of motivating employees. So I have jotted more narrowly कि इसके अलावा मुझे competencies तो मैंने identify कर ली. But usme when I have to go with the training need analysis, I need to be more focused. Kis type ki trainings that employee will be required. if it's need to be some achievement orientation, like exactly agar main kahun, how that performance is being done or how I have to motivate employees. So again, goal setting, work motivation, continuous self-improvement, sometimes their personal development, sometimes professional development. So again, depending on the role, I need to identify their competencies, and then the the next further step would be the right training set. Like for a manager, मैंने कहा चलो ठीक है leadership training में कौन सी leadership training, that is basically the assessment of that. So this is basically the matrix for training competency model for the supervisor. Like जिस तरह हमने we have mentioned some of the training titles. अब इसमें से V means compulsory training that needs to be given on a supervisory level. We need to give those trainings. Below one are for the manager. V represents that it is mandatory, like communication training and effective leader, or effectively in terms of becoming effective leader or service excellence. So again, supervisors needs to be more customer oriented as compared to managers. So we can skip for the manager, but we can't skip for the supervisor. Manager might be required more leadership skills, more strategic thinking, more decision making. So these are the required training for the manager. So again, for each position, the required training would be different because that would be based on your competency model. All right. So we have another competency model based on your performance appraisal. Now, how that throughout the year, how you're performing. Just when you visit a store in terms of like just McDonald's or KFC, they have mentioned employee of the month, employee of the quarter. Basically, that is the competency they want to mention, that how that who is the best among all those employees who are working on the floor. So that's it gives an idea, that also gives an appreciation to the employee, he or she is working well. Some organizations have a software, like they have deployed a software for that. They have the idea that what exactly that person is going on day-to-day activities, that line manager is basically feeding all the data. Okay, they have done their assignment, they are on the right track. For example, in case of faculty, we have evaluation, midterm evaluation, and then we have final evaluation. So this is again one of the assessment. Also, HOD directly marks us. This is another assessment. Then Dean marks us. Then EVC, Pro Vice Chancellor, anybody else. So again, that's basically your performance management. They gauge your performance. Either you're on the right track. What are your weaknesses? What are the things that needs to be worked on? So they will be identify all areas so the employee can be mentioned. So there are different methods that can be done through that. The three methods used by different organizations are OKR methods, KPI tracking, performance leaderboards, and dashboard. Starting with what is OKR? OKR basically objective and key results. Like what are the objective of your particular position? What exactly needs to be accomplished? Okay, just like my roles and responsibilities, I have some objectives that are like I am bound to do, like मेरी role की क्या responsibilities. So these were my objectives, how I have achieved those objectives, and what were the results of that. Either the results were satisfying, either I have whatever was the requirement, I was able to fulfill that or not. So again, my objective should be very much clear, and the results would be like what were the key results of that particular position. The second one was KPIs. KPIs are basically your key performance standards, like what exactly are the requirements of that particular job. If I say if it's a director alumni, so again the KPIs would be according to the alumni and their outreach and how they are maintaining the data, how they are having a good networking in terms of like how they are having a cordial relationship with their graduates. So again, that's the KPI. You need to set some relevant KPIs along with the position. Then you create some dashboards like, okay, this is the score. Either he's or she is at par or he's below, he's not performing well, or that's fine. That's like the average one. So again, you see, and then you talk and discuss with the employee that these objectives are being met or this needs to be done and what exactly needs to be changed. So again, this like one-on-one feedback is also given on that. Okay, either you are doing right or not. Sometimes it's done on these 6 month basis. Again, company to company, it varies how they are performing and how they are evaluating. Usually it's on yearly basis. Your KPIs are being given to you. You discuss with your line manager and supervisor directly. You set your KPIs. कि मैं इस साल में ये करूँगा. You like it's like a promise towards the organization, and then you try to achieve them. Okay, the second method is called as performance leaderboard. Now, performance leaderboard are basically you highlight the people who has like done well just to motivate them. Like I have an example in this case. This is like for the sales activity leader. Like this is the person, Ryan Porter, who has been best in terms of like outbound sales. He's been the best like in terms of like sales, or you have closed more sales or client. So he's been rated as #1. So it's basically your ratings matters in terms of like companies they have like published on their websites or published on their portals that this is the high performer, or he's performing very well. So the name with the scores as well, that he's able to lock how many clients, or he was able to call this number of people. So again, depends on your organization, also on your job कि आपका अभी आप किस role में काम कर रहे हो. If it's something related to sales, because that can be gauged कि आपने कितनी sales close की in terms of like कितने आपने clients close कर लिए जो आपके clients आपने किए थे, and that can be in terms of your leaderboard. You can mention in your organization that these are the higher performer or highest performers, and they are performing very well, just to give them applaud, just to give them like motivation and recognition. The last one is our dashboard and reports. Organization do have different dashboards in terms of like we have our intra system in which we publish all the reports in terms of like how I'm performing, how I am gauging my performance, what exactly are the area that needs to be improved. So again, some organizations are having their dashboard in terms of like this LMS scaling, LMS where it's mentioned this is something, these are the areas you need to focus, or they have their own software in terms of like अपने company का intranet system जो होता है कि these performance are needs to be done, so they can evaluate as well and they can get the data from there. So this was the part of our competency-based human resource management.